Hello, this is Jared playing Oxygen Not Included, and today I'm going to make a Drecko stable, actually two. But before I get to that, let's address some advice I got from Cedric. First of all, the plastic and the... what else am I making in here? Oh yeah, the glass that we're cooling off in this setup. Could be cooled a little bit more, so I actually added in a metal tile right here. And we're just going to direct some of this water and our cooling line to go through this instead. And that's going to keep this tile cool, and that's just going to help. Everything is chugging along so slow. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that'll help cool that off. The other thing is I'm relying on a little vacuum tile, so we might as well do a little check here. And this guy, plastic, it melts at around... well, we're currently at 160, so I think it's going to melt as soon as it gets out. So we're going to do a temperature check inside here and tell the polymer press not to run unless it's appropriate temperature. I'm not going to be running that for terribly long. We're going to be switching over to glossy Dreckos for our plastic source. And over on this asteroid, very critical piece. Okay, I see it's already been done, but we've got some tiling right there. So right this point, we've got this vacuum that's relying on this little piece of water. So we kind of lost some tiles down here. So with that, I'm going to direct some water to be stored there. Just because I don't like the idea of such a small thing being stored there. In fact, I probably should do a little bit of automation. Have something scream at me in case this vacuum is lost. But that's not the only thing. The other thing on this asteroid is I want to be able to replace these with insulated tiling, just so that we don't lose the coldness in this direction. Right, well, I think that should be all set up down here. Let's go over here, because this is where I'm going to be putting the Drecko stables. We're going to be growing some pinch of pepper plants. I'm going to grow that around here. And for the glossy Dreckos, we are going to be... actually, I think I maybe had that off by one, But yeah, for the glossy Dreckos, we're going to feed them some of the berries, which I haven't grown yet, but we'll be growing them down here. So we'll start off by clearing this whole area out. I currently do have some Drecko stables. I recently got the Carnivore Achievement, so that's why I'm now pivoting to this, because I can grow stuff in plants without removing that achievement. Alright, and I think it is time for another dupe, because also working on the Carnivore Achievement. So we've got another dupe joining the team tile. Put them in appropriate schedule. Let's say down here. And back to our project of Drecko stables. So obviously we're going to get a grooming station. It'd be nice to have shearing station as well in each of the rooms. We are going to have the pinch of pepper plants a little bit warmer, so I'm going to insulate this area. Also going to dig out this spot up here so that we can raise the temperature, or at least maintain the temperature as needed. Checking out over here, installation has started. Maybe make that a priority, otherwise hydrogen is going to fill that zone. Put in an auto sweeper to pick up some... oh, that can't access all the eggs, can it? Actually it could if I change this out for some doors instead. There we go. Also saved a little bit of space down here to put in some Atmos suits. Whoever's going to go into this area, because there's going to be lots of hydrogen. Alright, and with all... Whoa! Buffer. Whoops. Not the way to build things. What we've got going on now is a pump that's going to take polluted water and feed some of our plants that are going to be growing here. And we're also going to be dumping some liquid water right here just so I can get heating process going. And I've got, of course, temperature check to make sure it's at the appropriate temperature. Bring in some power after. Just make sure this tile gets built before we dump in some water, obviously. Adding in a little bit of insulation. Should be receiving some water. Yep, water's on the way. And once this pump is built, let's put in a wall right there. And while we're doing some water, I'll move on to the next step. Next part of this is bringing in some power. But I also want to do some automation, and notice I'm short on some lead. So one thing I've got going on is a new transformer that's going to be put in right here. And at the same time, I'm going to put in Atmos suits back in here. And we're going to start digging and exploring around this area to get a little bit of lead. Go up this direction as well. As we work towards having this new transformer, hold on, I should definitely be disconnecting that right there, and definitely right there as well. And I guess, oh, there we are, perfect. So that is now live, separate circuit. Let's just kill that little end wire. Much water we have up there. I'm going to say that is looking like enough. Excellent, and we'll move on to the next little section. Next part of this puzzle is to do two things. One, automation. So we're going to be doing egg removal with auto sweepers, dumping eggs up here. I also have automation to detect if any Dreckos need to be added to the stable, similar to how I've done the little hatch stable down here. Those are going to be sending signals to either one of these, depending on the type of Drecko that's needed. And the other thing is we just simply need to load in hydrogen. That's what the Dreckos need to regrow scales if we want to get access to more plastic and reed fiber. So let's go. And I see we are time for another dupe potentially, or do I hold off? I need to think about it. With nearly 250,000 calories and new stables being built, I'm bringing in another dupe that's animal lover, so they'll be working with critters, obviously, in time once they get their skills. Let's just make sure they're in the appropriate schedule. Down here, let's put them right next to tile. And then back to it. So we've got the wall here. Built that in priority just because obviously with hydrogen going in, I don't want that hydrogen flowing out and up. We want to keep it in the stables itself. Try to remind myself to put in the actual Atmo suits down here. Because dupes are having to hold their breath. I guess it's not going to matter as much for the Bionic dupes. I have a feeling after this construction is done, I'll be putting in those suits. Let's see, do we have any bristle blossom? Let's start growing at least one, even though I don't have the Drecko, glossy Dreckos yet. See some pinch of pepper plants growing. That's good. I cut that tile right there just to let oxygen flow out of the way. We make a priority of getting that opened up too. It's just going to help the hydrogen loading process. Yeah, tubes are not loving it in here. Yeah, that, currently we are not actually bringing in the hydrogen, but might want to hold off loading on in anymore. Got our spot here to store some Dreckos. This is the excess Drecko storage. Still going to be able to get a little bit of plastic and reed fiber. The only thing that's left is automation. Make that a priority. So I have discovered a problem. The bristle blossoms here is far too warm. So what I'm going to do is I'm bringing in a cooling line. I haven't done much with the cooling line that's here other than making sure that we cool down the outputs of this industrial area. Plus, obviously, make sure our steam turbines are running. In fact, let's have a look at that. It's at 33 so degrees. That's kind of interesting just because the cooling line itself is actually at a decent temperature. It's just the machinery is pretty hot. Okay, so as long as the cooling line is going to be around 20 or so, I'm not so concerned. Let's bring that up. Make sure this guy gets nice and cool. Also going to be directing in hydrogen from the actual hydrogen storage area so we can push lots of hydrogen in. These plants are happy. Get that set up for 40. Power connection is needed. And of course, we've got our Atmo suit stations going in. Let's make sure that's hooked up with a little bit of oxygen. That's not oxygen. And some radiant pipes, obviously, to make sure this area gets nice and cool. And at the same time, I also started a path of getting into this machinery. That might jumpstart the glossy Drecko stable for us. How do I get over without splashing water back? Maybe I had a plan of going in from the other side from the bottom, but maybe I'll instead go from the top. Let's go check, see how everything is looking. Let's put in some Atmo suits so we can get back in here. Some hydrogen is loading in. That's good to see. Activate this machinery. Spark having a look at that for us. We may need more Atmos suits, so let's make a few more. We need to cool off our steel production and make a little bit of iron. Lots of hydrogen in here now, so this is looking very healthy. I don't want hydrogen in the full stable. Let's just verify I actually got to 90. Oh, no, that's right. Never mind. But I think we can put this back in. And after that, we'll measure the fact that we get 96 and 96. Maybe I will go select a few critters to go in here. This is the 20th dupe. Probably going to stop here. This cupcake going to concentrate on cooking for us. So we'll have 2 dupes that'll specialize or focus on cooking. Let's get them down here. And that fills all the schedule plans that I have. I have 7 schedules for normal dupes. 6 for the Bionic. Just make sure I've got 12 seats for 12 normal dupes. We've got cots available. Okay, so in addition to moving critters over here, I'm also going to be automating lights in the washroom. And eventually get our Atmos suits set up so dupes can go in here. I'm going to go and insulate in and around this guy. Actually, shoot, I did not think of this. I should have done that as well. Okay, we might have to break a wall temporarily to finish this. Alright, so we've got 3 critters that have gone through this. We need 2 more. There's our 4th. What are you doing down here? Oh, there we are. So that is all the critters we need. So now I can take one of these guys and relocate them in here. We should get a glossy type of Drecko out of that. Seems like it's taking a little bit of time for this cooling line to do its thing. Liquid is at a good temperature. I think we just have to wait a little bit longer. Let's go over, check on this dupe. I have them doing a number of things. Might as well get access to this. We'll take in some polluted water, store it here so we can keep dumping in more polluted water. And just keep expanding. I also want to try to form a nature reserve, which I haven't done yet. So that's what's going on over here. Oh, we are missing reed fiber. Okay, I did not realize that. Alright, I'll make a plan for that. So I think the quickest way to get some reed fiber is just to take a few of the Dreckos that are around, including the ones that are in stables, and throw them into this little place temporarily. So we can do some shearing. So I'll put together a quick plan to relocate a few of these guys. Plus get a path open to where I see some reed fiber sitting right there. And as well enable harvest on that plant as well. A little bit warm in this zone, no doubt. Let's see, a little bit of reed fiber. There's the new Atmos suit, thanks to that reed fiber. Suspect we'll be able to see some construction going on here finally. There we go. There we go. So insulating all around here. Of course, we did get some polluted oxygen with this little disruption. Final tidying up of this system. Just gonna pop this tile temporarily to get that polluted oxygen out of the way. There is our glossy Drecko. Okay, so with that, we'll wait for a little bit of this polluted oxygen to make its way out. Maybe we'll push in more hydrogen once again. Glossy Drecko going to the place I don't want it to go, of course. Can always fix that after. Seal this up right there. I think that's looking good now. And we'll wrangle this guy. That should automatically move them down here. I'll take this moment once this tile is created just to verify we've got 96. Let's see, 96 tiles and 96 tiles. Well, that is it for today. Let's see, we've got 2 new stables specifying our concentrating on the Dreckos. Actually, maybe I should retire the old stables. So get rid of this. Oh, we never had a drop off over there. Wrangle this guy back again. So that's going to relocate that guy over here so he can eat some pinch of pepper plants. We've got this guy who can eat some of this stuff down here. We grow a little bit more. Copy. So let's expand this as we get more critters in there. Fixed a few things with the industrial cooling system that I had going on last time. Actually, I never specified this, did I? 125. Let's say if this is below 133, this can run. And we'll push in some of our petroleum. I don't actually intend to have this operating very long. At some point, we're going to be getting... Oh, might as well get our random gift. A little bit of brine, apparently. Let's just finish off. This whole series started with experimenting to see what it was going to be like to get the Carnivore Achievement. And the main thing I can say is there hasn't been much thinking about it, which is kind of the way I want it to be. Nice and easy, 338 of 400. Been saying this, I think, a few times, but I think the next episode, I mean, it's going to be at the end of cycle 100, so better be in the next episode that I get the Carnivore Achievement, starting off with Bionic dupes. But now we've got 12 dupes, so I need to think a little bit more about food production. So probably in the next episode, we're going to get into a little bit of farming. Then I'll think about where we're going to go next. Let's just see. Oh, we've got a nature reserve over on this asteroid. That's nice. So hopefully I will see you next time playing a little bit more Oxygen Not Included. A little bonus section here, watching some plastic production. Getting 150 kilograms just from that.